Jehovah's passion for life. We just supported this team that be bringing them life. But we couldn't.
You are watching Blessed Beats on blessedbeats.com. My name is Memphis 10, and welcome to another show. We have it hitting today, y'all. I got a special guest in the building. I want to call her philanthropist, pastor, mom, mega superstar, Mia Wright. Pastor Mia Wright in the building, y'all. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hey, Memphis. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here on Blessed Beats, and we're hoping your audience is doing well, too.
It's funny because once we launched Blessed Beats, we was getting a lot of requests to having certain people on it. And then we just got a random tweet one day. It was like, yo, you know who you should have on here? It was like, and then I think they added you at it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I actually know her. That's a good idea.
I was like, who is this? What is this Blessed Beats? I need to know this.
So for my audience who don't know who Pastor Mia Wright is, who are you?
Hey, well, I'm a pastor. I still am surprised every time I say that.
Yeah.
I'm really just a girl from California by way of East Austin, and grew up in church, but didn't have the church really grow up in me. Went to UT, graduated, moved to Houston, and ended up marrying somebody in ministry. Didn't think that was going to be my life, and didn't want that to be my life. But God has surprised me every day with just blessing beyond blessing, so that really I have learned to live a very complete and full life. I'm a mom. I have two beautiful sons and a stepson that I've helped raise. So life has been good to my family, and I'm really just a woman trying to live on purpose. Really.
If you're in Houston and you anywhere around the church scene, one of the most branded churches would be the Fountain of Praise.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how the Fountain of Praise became that church.
Yeah.
Because it's that church.
Oh, wow. That's a blessing to hear you say that, Memphis. The Fountain of Praise was formerly South Post Oak Baptist Church. We came there 25 years ago. It was like 75 people. It was so empty. We used to say you could throw a couple elephants in the church building and it'd be not hit anybody,
Okay.
But then it started to grow, and just really by people hearing what God had to say for their life, people being drawn to that ministry. We used to have lines of people standing outside. It was like, it looked like club scene, people standing outside the doors waiting for the service to begin, or they could transition into the next service. It used to be lines of people, and we got to a point where we knew we were going to have to build a new building, and we ended up buying property on another place, and we were ready for a name change because we felt like that South Post Oak, we were on South Post Oak Road, it was just, it didn't say anything about who we were.
Right.
And so it was just through prayer, asking God, how do we develop a name that helps attract people to what we do here?
Yeah.
And God said, it's a fountain of praise. It's ever flowing. It's something that's going continually, and once people connect to it, they're being refreshed by it. And so we changed the name, we built the new building, we moved to Hillcroft, and it's been God's history since then.
Since I would say, I guess my generation, and when we would call it that church, what made a lot of people like myself, because I ain't been saved always.
Yeah, me neither.
A lot of us that we would literally be out in the streets or on the scene, and we was making sure that we was hitting the Fountain of Prayer. What made that the magnet? What makes that church so warm for people like that or us?
Well, I will say a few things. One is that the leadership, we are very open to people. Both my husband and I, we've overcome some stuff. Both of us in our lives, he was 28 years old when he got his GED, and he was 36 when he got a bachelor degree. He was 40 something when he went to Harvard, and he got his master's degree when he was 45. So he has been through a lot in his life. He ran the streets, and so he knows what it's like, but he also knows what it's like to have this yearning for God, and to know that even though you feeling fulfilled in some manner out there in the street, you're still missing something. And so that experience has translated into, teaching people how to seek after what you really want, and that it's not going to be filled in the streets, not going to be in drugs, not going to be in partying, not going to be in clubbing. Right. So what you're seeking for is something better in your life. And so his messages have been very relevant in that manner. And likewise, in the same time that God has developed me, I've become a completely different woman than I was when I first got there. I was not shy, never been shy, but I was very quiet when it came to my faith. I couldn't share it with people without crying. I was like, oh, Lord. But God just built up a bold spirit within me to help share the message of how you can really change your life for so many people, not just women, but women and men. So people people yearn for the church or wanted to come to the church because they know that they needed something beyond what they were currently getting. So they started coming, and they keep coming.
Let's talk about who Mia Wright is. You said California.
Yeah.
Austin.
What
kind of girl were you when you growing up? Were you into hip hop? What kind of girl were you?
Hip hop, yeah. Actually, so I won't date myself, but hip hop was being developed as I was a young girl. And yes, we were riding the school bus, singing, Run DMC stuff. Yeah. So yes, I was very much into it. I was also a big Prince fan, so like my heart still yearns, and it's sad for his loss, but. As a young girl, I was always engaged in stuff and like social clubs, like I was in Top Teens, those types of things. I did a lot of stuff in school. I was really active.
Right.
I lived I was kind of a product of a single home. So my mom used to say, "You're the most expensive child I have." So I was 15 years old working, 15 years old with a driver's license. I got one of my hardship license so I could drive. And, I was thinking I was old, but I also was 16 years old in the nightclub.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was kind of big for my age. So nobody ever carded me. Nobody ever questioned, are you underage to be here? Not a single person. And I think I got clubbed when I went to the teen club one time.
we got some listeners who may or may not know your name. Let's say they do know your name, and then they just heard that part of your story real quick, and they could be there today, like, man, I'm 16, I'm 18, I'm in this club, like, and I know a lot of women look up to you or want to be like you, you know what I mean? What would you say to the unchurched females? Because a lot of people might say, man, I can't get what she has. God don't love me like that. You know what I mean? Like,
man,
what do you say to, like, I always try to say when I go speak that, I've been there. You know what I mean? And it's hard for the unchurched or for the youth to even believe that. You know, like, she didn't listen to no DMC. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like,
I did.
What do you say to those people?
I say that you're young and you're experiencing life, and you always have this perspective. You need to always have this perspective and mindset that God does love you, and God is able to give you everything you need in life. It doesn't mean you're always going to be like, in church from Sunday to Sunday, and you won't have a life, but you will have a life. He desires that you have a good life and a long life. He said he came to give you life abundantly.
Right.
But also the other thing that God wants you to do is place some boundaries on your life. And it doesn't mean that you can't have fun, but there's some things that you don't want to open up or expose yourself to, because when you begin to do that, you enter into different areas that could really potentially affect that abundance of life that you could have. For example, if it's promiscuity, if you keep opening yourself up to, just free sex with whoever, then you put yourself in a position when, your body isn't good. You could be open to susceptible to diseases. Especially for women, when you want to have a baby at some point in time, then they're telling you can't have a baby because you had something that has affected you. And so just the bottom line is there's some things that you do need to do to maintain who you are, to learn who you are, and that's to find out who you are in Christ. When you know who you are in God, then you become an even better person. I will just say for me that when I moved to Houston, it became my personal experience time with God. I was here by myself. I didn't have any family here, and I just had some friends from college, and so it was like, what am I doing in Houston? What on earth am I? And I felt very alone and very lonely, and I didn't feel like we had cell phones then.
At this moment?
I had been saved since I was young, but I wasn't really walking with the Lord. Okay. So
I got a question.
Yeah, come on.
So you're talking about how you should have an alternative way of living.
Yeah.
I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm watching what you're saying. And I don't have an outlet.
Yeah.
How do I get to this alternate version? Because everything that I see looks good. So, promiscuity, the sex, the whatever, the fun, the whatever, the club.
It all looks good. And it's fun.
It is.
And it's fun. And it make you feel good. Yeah.
So, where do I get this alternative life that you're talking about? How do I even tap into that?
I like your question, Well, the truth is this, is that if we just call it what it is, sin is fun.
Yeah.
Sin make you feel good.
Yeah.
It does. Sex, drugs, women,
Right.
All of that stuff. But it also is it takes you to a place that can affect and impact your life on the long term. If you keep, getting caught up with people, you keep doing drugs, you're going to go deeper and deeper into a place that pulls you further away from who you really are and who you were created to be. And if you ever really want to get to a place of living life in purpose, living life doing something, having satisfaction with your life, not just being okay with your life, but really being satisfied with your life, then you have to seek for something different. And it doesn't mean that, everything will just stop at one time, like, oh, it's all done, I'm ready to change. But it could be that for you.
Well, Mia, that sounds good, but where do I go to find it?
Where do you go find it? You start inside. You start inside. You start, really, I tell people, evaluate your life. Look and see what's going on here and what is it that you want to change. And if you want a better life, then what do you want better about what you currently have? If you don't want to have to go to a drug to feel a high, if you don't want to have to drink all day to feel good, then what is it that you can have? And it's a relationship with God. And God can give you that satisfaction. He can give you that good feeling on the inside. He's the best drug you'll ever have. Honestly, he's the best drug you will ever have. Better than any, weed that you could smoke or drink you can drink. He'll make you feel so good about yourself that you won't even need all those other things. So you find it within yourself first by seeking God for yourself. You evaluate your own personal life. What I want to change. And then how can I change this? And so you begin to pray. It's a simple thing to pray to God. Some people try to make it so deep.
Yeah.
And I hate that part about it, because personally, just for myself, I remember sitting in my apartment saying, I feel so alone.
Yeah.
And God, if I'm supposed to be where I am right now, gosh, I'm feeling choky.
Yeah. No, but I'm with you, because a lot of people think I can't pray to God because I don't know how to talk to him. I don't speak in tongues, and I don't know how to make it last 8 minutes long. You know what I mean?
Forget all that.
I'm like, I can talk to God from here to the red light, just like, God, okay, it's me. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So right now, blessedbeats.com, Memphis 10, Mia Wright, Tibbs is in the building. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about your businesses, and then we're going to talk about dating and metamorphosis. Can we get into that?
Sounds good.
We'll do that right here on blessedbeats.com.
Jehovah's passion for life. We just supported his team that be bringing them life. But we couldn't.